Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Director Watch, an AwardsWatch podcast that attempts to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them. Anyway, we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, the executive editor here at AwardsWatch, and joining me as always, co-host Jay Ledbetter.
Ryan, we're starting a new series. I'm very excited to do it. We're talking Elaine May's A New Leaf, but I think what we have to talk about first, what do you think Elaine May voted for Best Picture 2024?
Oh, man. Wait, do you actually know the answer?
No, I do not know the
answer.
Okay.
I thought, well...
Yeah, I know what famously reclusive person, like public figure Elaine May. I talked to her about what she voted for.
I don't know, man. So we were kind of talking a little bit about this before. These people are just willing to give out this information. It feels like over a nice summer.
She might be one. I would not be shocked if she
like over a nice summer
like
salad. People are like, "I'll tell you everything I voted
anonymous,
for."
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be anonymous.
Like an in-depth interview in 40, 50 years, but yeah, maybe.
What do I think Elaine May picked? I actually think this is kind of easy. I think she picked Anora.
I was going to say Anora as well.
Yeah, I think she picked The Substance.
Well, that's a good call. That's a good one. It's probably the backup. You know,
what do you think was 10th on her ballot?
Brutalist.
Dune Part 2.
Oh, Brutalist.
I think
Dune 2.
Dune 2. I think she could. I mean, say what you want about the Brutalist. I think the female characters in Dune Part 2.
It's not always just about that, though.
Yeah, a little bit about that. And then I also think she would be like, it's too beige. It's too brown, you know?
She's not wrong.
You know?
It is quite beige.
Yeah.
Elaine. Good point, Elaine.
You're welcome. We're here to talk about A New Leaf. First film in our Elaine May movie series, Jay. Very excited. Nichols and May. We've done Nichols, and now we're doing
On to May.
May. Yes. It was a great series that we did for Mike Nichols. We had a great time on that series. But now a little bit of a shorter series, but an important series nonetheless. Talking about
he also made a movie with a plot extraordinarily similar to the plot of this movie.
You think so?
The Fortune.
Oh, we're going to talk about that today?
I mean, we have to, I think. They should have been best friends forever. Why did they drift apart?
I don't know. Some would say our guests, we were meant to be best friends forever. We drifted apart, but now we're back together. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah. It's been like 2-3 months that she's been on the pod.
That's I think he's talking about something a few years ago. But
I think we used to work together, and then it took us a while to work again. No.
For me.
Oh, for you. Oh, you're talking about yourself.
2 or 3 months that she's been on the pod.
Yeah. Our guest today is the great Karen Peterson. Karen, welcome back to Director Watch.
Thank you.
Be back in this.
I guess we can go in depth into y'all's relationship if that's what you want to do.
I don't want. I mean,
we got
Karen, do you want to dispel all the rumors that we hate each other for years?
Therapy. All right, let's do it.
We're turning over a new leaf.
The May and Nichols of podcasting.
No, Karen and I. Okay, we don't want to say it out loud. We'll just say it out loud. Karen and I used to podcast together over at Award Circuit, and I think because we had different taste in films, and also
that's not why.
Oh well, and also just okay. I was
Pandora,
trying to be nice.
I apologize for opening your box.
I just think that we disagreed on a lot of approaches on things, and
that I would say is accurate.
And I was very new to everything. Karen, obviously a seasoned veteran, and it took some time apart, a lot of experiences in between, and then we came back together. But we always have fun now on these shows when we're together with each other. I
was able to bring you all back together.
Yes, we owe it all to you, Jay Ledbetter.
Man, there were some fiery episodes of that Award Circuit podcast back in 2019. I'll tell you, it was like a prize fight waiting to happen on some of those episodes. But now it's not so much. Karen just calls me an idiot to my face now more than anything else. And she's 9 times out of 10. I just acknowledge it. I'm right. Yeah, she's right and I'm wrong. You know what I mean? It's usually how it goes. It's how it is throughout the rest of my life. You know, that's how I have been with Jay for years. Jay's usually right about everything.
Self-deprecation. Yeah, I mean, you're right about that.
No, thank you. Whoa, I got one. All right.
What about me being right most of the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you said I was still right. So technically
you've got a few good opinions.
I've got some. Some people think
you were right about how wrong you are.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
such a backhanded compliment. We really just gone down a rabbit hole.
I missed this. I miss not being the only person
to slap Ryan
give
around.
you a hard time. Yeah.
Well, that's but I'm much better for the most part sport about it. And Karen and I,
but we're gonna dig into that over the.
We're gonna dig into it. Well, I think so. I think it's only right as we're all turning over a new leaf in a new series in a new year.
This is a spring episode.
It's a spring episode. Everybody's changing. Those New Year's resolutions, they probably died, so you probably got to re-up them.
They died Jan 10.
Do you guys do those?
Yeah, it died Jan 10.
Jan 10? Oh, you do. Oh, you say like, I'm going to do something, and then it's dead in like 10 days?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Karen, do you usually do anything?
I don't do resolutions, but I do sometimes set some goals.
Okay.
So I did a couple of goals this year. And
how are they going for you?
Not bad. One of them is just to watch more international films. So I've been working on that.
One of my goals was to always have a good time.
How's that going?
There you go.
Even in the bad times. No, because I feel like try to make everything good, not try to be too cynical. Be less cynical.
It's a real therapy episode so far.
But then I work with Jay every week.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard not to want to be
that ain't
something.
happening.
Exactly. Jay will skyrocket all that to the core. We're here to talk about A New Leaf. Again, first film in our Elaine May movie series. Karen, we asked you to do this one a while ago, I believe.
Yeah.
When we said, because some of our favorite guests, most are our guests, honestly, but really our favorites. They get to see and know the secrets behind the scenes.
When they were old leaves.
Yeah, they were old leaves. Now these are new leaves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They've fallen.
They bloomed. Yeah, exactly. On the tree. And we said, Karen, we're going to do Elaine May. Karen was like, I would like to do A New Leaf. But before we get into that, Karen, I got to ask your opinions about Elaine May, and also we didn't have you on for Nichols. And so I kind of want a lot of people know Elaine May through Mike Nichols' films, through their relationships, also through Elaine May's films as well too. So kind of your overall opinions on her and their relationship in this time period of filmmaking that she is so well known for, that we're going to be talking about it here over the next month.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of in a position where I didn't know her because of him. I actually I discovered her work, not discovered, but I found her work and watched a lot of her stuff, not knowing that she had anything to do with Mike Nichols. And so when I learned about that connection, this is years ago, then I was just like, oh, this is interesting. And then I started looking more at things that the things that they worked on together compared to the things that they did separately. And so it's interesting, but I mean, I think because I knew his work and I knew her work separately, I can just enjoy her as the underrated creator that she is. I know she's in later career has been, a lot of her stuff has been reappraised, but I think she has not had nearly the accolades, success, or even opportunities that she should have had.
For sure. And I think we're going to be
30, almost 40 years since she made a movie.
This is something we could probably talk about in a couple episodes, but Karen's bringing it up here, and this is a good time to probably talk about. But she has a movie that's ready to go. She wants to make it, and I think it's with Sebastian Stan and Dakota Johnson, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Can't get insured.
And they can't get insured because they need a second director. And
she is 92 years old.
She's 92 years old. No, I know.
He's trying to pull a Clint.
She's trying to do a Freakin'.
But honestly, that's kind of the point, is those two they're able to get their movies made. Why can't she?
Robert Altman too.
I
he got
mean,
a Prairie Home Companion, and they got a second
he
unit.
had a
He had PTA.
He had PTA. Yeah. I mean, the answer is that Clint has been doing movies for 70 years or whatever. I mean, it's entirely unfair that Elaine May hasn't been able to make a movie for 40 years.
Well, even still, like Clinton.
I mean, that's the real problem. But if you're, an insurer and you're like, okay, so you're a recluse, you haven't made a movie in 40 years, and you want to make a movie, get somebody else to, be on call with this one. But
I think she should get Thelma Squibb to sign on and to get ready to make her directorial debut.
Let's do it. That's perfect. The insurance company would
Sorry,
love that.
June Squibb.
Thelma Squibb?
From Thelma.
Thelma Squibb. Put it in the iconic lines of the show. Thelma Squibb. That would be really cool if you're just like, wait, is that June Squibb? No, it's Thelma Squibb. I love that. Yeah, just be like just like double down with another 90-year-old
exactly
woman.
Just like, okay, here's my second director.
Who's gonna say no to Thelma Squibb? Like, no one's gonna do it. You know what I mean? No one's gonna say
her own
no.
Stunts.
Exactly. She does her own stunts. She's mobile. She can get there. Man, she had like a really.
Is that now that I said that on a recording, that's gonna be all I can remember of her name. Now I'm never gonna get it right again.
You're welcome. Welcome to Director Watch. This is what we do.
No. How many movies in the Library of Congress are disliked by their directors?
Is this one of them?
It's not all the way one of them, but we can talk about the production and mostly editing of this movie, which had a Terrence Malick level editing process. But
I've always been curious about this Library of Congress business, because it seems very inconsistent of the movies that get in every single year, and there are glaring omissions to these lists, or to know that certain directors don't even have a film in there. Karen, I know, is not going to have a dry eye in the house for what I'm about to say. She's going to be really upset when I say that PTA doesn't have a movie in the Library of Congress, which kind of, I know, Karen, I know. Karen, I know, it's a big deal.
Home Alone is in the Library of Congress.
Exactly. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
American classic.
It just kind of feels weird, if it like I don't know the rules. No, I mean, like, Karen, say what you want. Like, even if you don't want to, like, put
you really
all
want me
this
to say what I want?
No.
Man, they do put a lot of movies in the Library of
But
Congress.
like, even like a movie like this, There Will Be Blood, which is universally, considered his masterpiece, right? One film. I'm talking one. Well, most people think it is probably.
It is the,
or it is the one, right? Yeah. For that, and it's by most people on a lot of lists like the best film of that decade,
consensus,
or that year.
PTA number one, probably.
Yeah. For that not to be even in there, but then like Home Alone, which, I mean, big film.
Clerks.
It's weird. It's a weird place, because then you see some films like this and you're like, oh wow, good for them. And then I mean, like, so, and then you see some other films and you're like, wait a minute.
I'm trying to figure out what the worst film in the Library of Congress is. I'll let you know.
Is Vice in there?
I do not think Vice will be making the.
Isn't there typically a number of years?
Registry.
Like, aren't films a certain age before they get?
No, I think it's like 5-10 years.
Like the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, the Dark Knight got in.
2013.
Dark Knight got in 2022. Yeah.
Dark Knight got in 2020.
Dark Knight got in 2020.
That's a pretty big movie.
Yeah, they only bring in a few movies a year.
I don't know. It's a lot of movies.
The most recent are 20 Feet from Stardom and 12 Years a Slave, which came out in 2013.
20 Feet from Stardom?
Yeah. That's the most recent release. Yeah.
Really?
Beverly Hills Cop made it.
That makes sense. Like, that's in
Dirty Dancing.
I just don't know a lot of people talking about 20 Feet from Stardom. But I mean, good for it.
It's a great movie, though.
I mean, it's a good movie, but it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
Of that year? I gotta know the criteria. Isn't it also like a written vote? Like people like write it in like
No, they
you
do
and
it on
I?
the Senate floor.
Oh, oh, okay. So that's probably why PTA is not getting in
The ayes
because
have it.
the eyes.
Established by the National Film Preservation Act of 1988, the National Film Preservation Board works to ensure the survival, blah, blah, blah. Advising the librarian on its recommendations for annual selections to the National Film Registry, apprising the librarian of changing trends and policies, and counseling the librarian, this is the Librarian of Congress, on ongoing implementation of the National Film Preservation Plan. So there's an actual plan.
There's a plan. Oh.
Yeah.
So it's only American movies, right?
I
I would
believe
assume.
so.
I would assume so.
Think so.
I'm not
Okay.
seeing any.
So Karen, you
There
said
is
20.
a nomination form.
Yeah, and I fill it out every year, and none of my picks get in.
I wonder why that is.
I got to tell you, that first year, 1989, when this thing started, it's a good class.
Yeah, what's the 89
They
year?
did a good job. I mean,
What'd
there's
they
a
do?
lot, but I'll run through
Read the
biggies.
highlights.
You got your Casablanca, your Citizen Kane, your Doctor Strangelove, your Gone with the Wind, your High Noon, Maltese Falcon, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Modern Times, On the Waterfront, The Searcher, Singing in the Rain, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Some Like It Hot, Star Wars, Sunset Boulevard, Vertigo, The Wizard of Oz, and then a handful of others.
Damn, that's pretty good.
I think
Those
they
are
did
a great
good job.
list.
Those are some good movies, I guess.
Yeah.
They're no 20 Feet from Stardom, but they're pretty good. You know,
It's a great documentary.
it is.
I'm trying to figure out what a bad movie on this list is.
Of the last 10 years, what's a movie you guys would think gets in from 2015 to now?
Cocaine Bear?
Yes. I'm going to nominate that. And I'm going to put your name on it, Jay.
Holy shit.
To Congress.
To
Put
Congress.
this movie in.
What if a bear had cocaine?
I mean, I'll tell you what one should get in.
Mm,
Nickel Boys.
yeah.
Put it in. A socially important piece of art.
I'll throw one out there, Jay. You know how
Okay.
much I love it. I see your Nickel Boys and I'll raise you a Moonlight.
Oh, Moonlight.
Oh, yeah, that'll definitely
Yeah,
go.
that's
Absolutely.
definitely going to get in. Yeah.
It's funny because you asked me what movies I think from 2015 on, and I suddenly forgot every movie released in the last 10 years.
Well, Karen, that's not good. You know, actually, you
No.
know what, Karen? You know what, Karen? Actually, good for you. Because on every fucking social media platform, people only talk about movies the last 10 years and they don't talk about old movies. So, Well,
Yeah, tell me about it.
you know, I know this is something, you know what, listeners? Contrary to popular belief, Karen and I do actually agree on a lot of things. And this is actually something we bonded on for years about the
Yes.
just deterioration of film literacy amongst peers and people that are just out there in the world.
I once made the very controversial statement that people writing about film should learn something about film.
No, come on now.
That was terrible, and
You
now
know better
I'm
than that.
canceled.
You can't. Well, yeah. Say goodbye to Karen. She's out the rest of the episode of the show.
Bye, guys.
Trying to figure out what I think the best movie of the last decade is.
Are you talking about like of this decade so far?
No,
Are you talking about the last 10
years.
years? Well, we can look this up. I mean,
It's tough. No,
should
this is
be-
probably not something to do on the first Elaine May episode.
yeah. Well, Jay, we've talked a little bit about Elaine May throughout the Nichols series,
Yeah.
but just as a writer, as a filmmaker, in her own series alone, I know you've seen most of her films already.
I've seen all of her films.
You've seen
too.
all of her films.
Mhm.
What do you think of her, Jay, as a presence in cinema?
I think she is a singular voice, and I think it's very unfortunate that she's only made the number of movies that she has. And I think there are multiple reasons for that. I think most of them are unfortunate, and unfortunate is the friendliest word I can use to describe her kind of situation. But she really is, her movies are unlike anybody else's. Her sense of humor is one of a kind. It's even in my opinion significantly different than the kind of standard setting of Mike Nichols, and you see that in the movies that they collaborate on. She has such a it's sharp, but it's droll. It's slow, but it's like just so impactful and harsh. Um, it's really kind of unlike anybody else, and I love her movies so much. So I'm so excited to talk about it. Somehow only four. What the hell, man? It's ridiculous. But she is just to me one of my favorite comedic voices of all time, and I love that she is, except for, one movie which is very much not a comedy in the same vein as the others, but she was so committed to comedy, and she should have been a lot more committed to comedy, but people wouldn't let her do that. And I'm excited to talk about a lot of that context, but she's great. I can't wait to talk about her.
I am super excited to do this series. One, because I feel like it is Jay and I are the completionists around here.
It's an easy one to complete.
It's an easy one to complete. It feels like it feels kind of irresponsible to do a Mike Nichols series and then not do an Elaine May series right after.
But we should say she's not like,
She's not like,
we're not trying to say that there's no Elaine May without a Mike Nichols.
No.
It's just, honestly, it's sort of a thing to advertise, it's like a fun thing to do. And obviously their
partnership
because
is
of all the work that they did together.
Yeah, I mean, they are as important of a pair in cinema and on the stage, and as well known of a pair as you're going to find. And I think to highlight him and his wild run, right, as a director, and his ups and downs, his ebbs and flows.
And he's made what, 6 times as many movies as Elaine
Exactly.
May? Something like that.
Exactly. And I think that also then speaks to the larger problem of Hollywood, is that somebody like him can fail multiple times and still get multiple opportunities to yet make masterpieces or very great films. But in a lot of ways too, the latter part of his career, he banked on her words to really allow for one of those rises back to true form. And meanwhile, she's 92 now and struggling to make her 5th film. By the time he was making his 5th film, he was making what, Day of the Dolphin, or
I think
something.
That actually, Ryan, that may have been his 5th film.
I think it might have been. Don't quote me on that. Jay, you can look that up to help me out here, just to make sure if I'm right on the chronology of things. But still, I think also she's just one of the funniest people on the planet, one of the funniest writers of all time. A singular voice. Jay absolutely hit that right on the head.
That was his 5th film.
Yes, girl, I'm so good at this. I feel that's the best thing that's happened all day. Straight up, right there. There you go, folks. That means something in this brain is working. But anyway, I wanted to do this because there is a blind spot that I have in this filmography. So I'm very much looking forward to.
You haven't watched the movie that we're talking about today?
Well,
that's a weird one to not have watched on this particular episode.
I actually haven't seen this one. This is a first time watch today.
Oh, it's first watch. Okay,
and
cool.
there's another blind spot in this series.
You have 3 first time watches this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're right. So probably the only one you've seen was the one in the Criterion Collection.
That is correct.
Yeah,
that is correct. Just because also, and I say this unkindly to distributors and to studios, her films are very hard to find. And it's a goddamn shame because there's so many other directors. And one of her films is literally in the Criterion Collection. One of her films, the film we'll talk about next week, is infamous for being almost essentially a lost film.
Yeah.
That
one's owned by like Burger King or something.
Exactly. Have it your way,
Unless you want to watch the movie.
Yeah, then you're not going to get, you're not getting it at all. But this one also too, this one's been very hard to find, and even Ishtar. And so 4 films, 4 unique films, 4 celebrated films, one of a very controversial film. And I don't know. I was just really excited to do this. Jay brought up this idea. This was his whole idea to do this as the start of the year. And I always say this, and Jay, you know this. I give you all the credit in the world. If Jay has a really good idea, we go with it. And so
Doesn't happen often.
it's very rare around here. So here we are talking about Elaine May in A New Leaf. So Karen,
Yeah.
with all that being said, so my favorite films of the last 10 years. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Okay, but really though, what are 5 things you did last week?
5 things I did last week.
Yeah, where's your list? Did you send it to HR?
Did I send it to HR?
Do you have no idea what I'm talking about?
Um,
You're the one that's on Twitter. I would think you would know exactly where this was going.
really? I don't know.
Never mind. Let's move on.
Uh,
The
I'm an old-
listeners know exactly what I'm talking
great.
about, and they're like,
Great
"Come on, Ryan."
podcasting.
I'm an old man, guys, through and through. Um, anyway, and I'm not going to be able to get this. I sound really old right now, don't I?
If you don't already know what I'm talking about, I know. I'll explain to you afterwards.
Okay, thank you, Karen. God damn it.
I'm going to
now.
write a note so that I remember to.
I feel like Mark Johnson right now.
Oh, Mark definitely knows what I'm talking about.
Okay. Say it again one more time.
Where's your list of 5 things you did last week? Did you send it to HR?
Okay, thank you. I will think about that now throughout the rest of this episode and respond back kindly. Karen, can you tell everybody what you love about A New Leaf? I know you've seen this film. You picked it, so
I have. I love this film. I've seen it multiple times. And was very delighted to watch it again last night in preparation for this conversation. So one of the reasons that I did pick it, and you kind of touched on this already, and we'll talk more about it in a bit, but one of the reasons I did pick this one as the one to talk about is because it's plagued with some issues and wasn't always her version of this movie. It was, kind of taken away from her, but like so many things were, but what is there in the film that we get now? I think it's so funny. And this is her directorial debut, her first feature. And I think that some of the choices that she makes and some of the ways that the story unfolds are just something that just feels like it's so her. And it just I'm like suddenly struggling with words now, but like there's just there's some really specific choices she makes in the way that she frames a shot or the way that she has a joke land. And this is a film that she also stars in too, so she's getting to actually fulfill the vision she had of writing this character of Henrietta. And I think it's such a funny movie. I think Walter Matthau is just so good at being just a guy I want to punch in the face. And I love Walter Matthau, but when I want to punch him in the face, he's doing a good job and he has an interesting character. And I love this movie as an early 70s snapshot too. I think what it says about privilege and wealth and people who, aren't really looking for anything in life, they can change. People are capable of change. And I think some of her personal life, maybe in some ways, kind of, informed this story too. Some of her relationships certainly did. And yeah, I just find this movie just such a delight.
I understand the reference now, Karen.
You Googled it.
I had to. I had to Google
Not
it.
paying attention to the new administration.
I'm just gonna say bravo to you.
Thank you.
Son of a bitch. No, I just don't follow that man at all. Or I
blocked
blocked out.
Follow him either. But
I block out as much of what is going on with that.
You didn't answer my email. That means you're fired from the podcast.
That's right. That's right.
Jay does align
how it works now.
Politically with that side of the world. You know what I mean?
Enough of this.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
I've got to distance myself.
Jay, you approve of all the spending cuts, right?
I don't know what's happened so far. I don't think much, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're cutting all the things that we over here care about. I don't know about you.
I think we're gonna cut a lot of stuff. I don't think any of it will be SpaceX contracts. But
that's true.
It's kind of, but what's happened so far is kind of like what's happened in this conversation that three of us have been having, which has been going for an hour and a half, and we've basically talked about nothing. So.
Genius and enlightening and wonderful.
It's kind of the recipe of this podcast.
I didn't realize they were doing that good of a job so far.
Jay, your thoughts on A New Leaf?
Yeah, I think it's great. To kind of Karen's point about how it does feel so unique, even from a filmmaking perspective, it does very much have this feeling of a raw first-time filmmaker. You read about this film being made, and it was truly, I don't know how lenses work. Like, that's how raw she was coming onto the set. And for her to have put something like this together, even if it wasn't the thing that she may have specifically wanted to be put on screen, if this is your worst case, you're doing all right. I think this movie is so funny. It's such, again, sort of a one-of-one worldview when it comes to comedy. It's dark, it's witty. The physical comedy is all there. It sort of attacks comedy from every angle. When it can be kind of a lark, it can be very dark. There can be, I mean, it is largely just kind of all there on the page, but also there's, the wonderful moment of the Grecian nightgown that was very much like a thing that Elaine May kind of came up with on the fly, and it works so well. And I think the main thing that changed from May's perspective, or one of the big things, was that the ending became a little sweeter than she had kind of anticipated. But I think while it does feel a bit contrived, I think it mostly does feel of a piece with the worldview of the movie, where it is kind of this, push aside of the darkness and the serious, and just kind of this return to lunacy. It's such like a harsh left turn of an ending that it kind of feels of a piece with this left turn of a world to me. And I love that about it. And I think Elaine May is wonderful in the movie. I think she's so appealing, but also playing the ditziness very well, while also having this underlying intelligence to her. I think there are so many layers to her character. I think there are so many layers to this movie. When you read about the making of it, it's kind of a miracle that it ended up being this good, but I think it's really good. This was the second watch for me, and I liked it even more the second time than the first.
So it was a first time watch for me, and I had no expectation. Actually, didn't even know what it was about. One of those good old fashioned blind watches, and I went in blind.
You thought it was about like a landscaper?
I didn't know what to make of it. It felt like, well, clearly from the image, it looked like there was going to be like some sort of a marriage,
some sort of domestic
disturbance thing. Exactly. And I was just like, okay, that seems it. And it'll be a comedy. It'll be funny. I'll have a good time with it. And we'll talk about it on the show. And then I sat down last week, and guys, I watched this movie, and had tears in my eyes by the end.
And tears in your eyes from laughter or
both? I found it completely charming and completely hilarious and an insane plot. And I agree with Karen. I found Walter Matthau to be just a great as a prick throughout this whole thing. And I thought
Walter Matthau, no.
And then Elaine May, who is just like a revelation throughout this movie, and every little thing that she does is the correct choice. And by the end of this movie, he's on that riverbank, and he's like still trying to talk himself to be like, this is what I'm going to tell the police. But then he's taking off his shoes because he's going to go save her in the water. I was like, yeah, guys, this movie's kind of a masterpiece. and I put it at 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I
Whoa,
loved
a
it.
fiver, a
Wow.
big fiver.
I was
Wow.
completely swept away by this thing. And I just found it to be like, I kind of felt like at every point when I was watching it, I thought it was going to go in sort of conventional ways. Like, I thought that,
You really haven't seen an Elaine May comedy then.
I mean, like, no, honestly, like, I mean, we've seen the stuff with her and Nichols before, and I've seen Mikey and Nikki, so I sort of knew what to expect from a movie like this, but I don't know.
They
You
honestly
kind of,
didn't work that much together on movies.
no. But for me, when I was watching this, I was just like, man, this plot point feels like this would have been like the ending for most movies. Like when the lawyer finds out about Henry, and that's like 45 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, you're like, we still got half a movie
He's
left.
like a half a movie into this thing. When he figures out, which my favorite subplot of this whole movie, and it goes back to what Karen is talking about, which is like people changing and the idea of this guy who is going into this marriage for the completely wrong intentions. Obviously, that's the setup of this whole thing. But when he's there's something weirdly sadistic and sweet about him holding a gun up to all the people that have taken advantage of Henrietta and kicking them all out and taking care of her affairs and helping her spend her money the right way and live the right way. And then that scene on the bench where she names her discovery after him. I mean, come on.
I mean, one of the funniest things about this movie is that he becomes competent over the course of
Yeah.
the movie.
That's so true. That's so true.
And in his quest to become the biggest piece of shit in the world, he finds purpose and desire.
Well, that's what Harold kind of says to him,
skill.
right? Where like he's just like, sir, you've actually like
You're actually doing great. You could
You're actually
get
doing
your
great, like-
CPA.
yeah, you're actually like she's kind of made you the man that you needed to be and grow the hell up. Because I was watching the beginning of this, like I don't know, in my head when I was watching it, I was like, man, Walter Matthau just like going, from the start of it being this playboy, being this very lazy sort of character, and just an absolute whiny tyrant. I was weirdly thinking about, like, man, if they made this today, like Matthau would have been played by Adam Driver in a weird sick way, where it's like it feels like a guy that has serious presence, but he can actually play a buffoon, and he plays it so well. And it's it's not like a forced progression of it. It is a gradual progression of Henry throughout the runtime of the movie, and you so slowly just start seeing it. And it's the thing of like, yeah, he's married to her, but it's actually like he's doing the right thing, and it's not even he's not even consciously thinking about it. Like he's just doing it because, like, not because that's the right thing to do. Honestly, he's constantly
rarely
just doing
the
it.
emotionally correct
No,
thing.
but it kind of just like by the end, it adds up to being the emotionally right thing to do. When he's like holding her and she's shivering, and he's just like, it felt so sweet by the end. Like maybe it continues.
He does it
and-
so begrudgingly, though. He's like,
it does.
I
It
guess
is,
I
but
do
then-
love her.
Yeah, it's like
But the
these
thing
two-
ab-
it's so
yeah.
well done. It's so well done. I was amazed by it. I was like, sorry, Karen, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's okay. I was
I
cutting you off.
Let's all cut
was-
each other off.
Let's just do it right now. No, I was just completely in awe of the movie, and yeah, I mean, not to just talk about Matthau the whole time. Like, Elaine May is incredible. I mean, from the she's got the screwball comedy. The minute you see her on screen, and she's got that smile with the glasses, and she's holding the teacup, and she's spilling it everywhere on that rug, and oh my god, it just the way she hangs off the cliff to get the discovery as well too. So funny, and you think
I
at
gotta
any
say, I think she is such a babe in this movie.
Oh, you think she is?
I am so drawn to Elaine May in this movie. It's crazy.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
wow, good. Important person list.
She's getting there, man.
She's getting there. Wow. Okay.
I mean, look, Elaine May was a very beautiful woman. Remains
she
that to
was.
this day at
Yes.
the ripe old age of 92.
Yeah, I was going to
but
say she's still around.
in
Jay.
this film. You get me a cute brunette with big glasses.
Oh, is that your? Oh yeah, like your shop girl in
Now we got a stew going up. I mean,
Mm.
the hottest character of all time, the shop girl in
the bookshop girl in oh God, what's that? Um, the
the
Lauren Bacall Humphrey Bogart movie. Gosh, I can't remember.
I'm
The
Karen,
Big
I
Sleep?
The Big Sleep.
yes, the
There
big
you
sleep.
go. Exactly. When we did that series way back when, Karen, my God, this guy, it was hard. It was hard to like talk
That
about
that
anything
girl
else
at
other
that
than her.
girl at the bookshop is just
Changed his
out
life.
out of
He
this
wished he had
world.
a freaking time machine to go back there and talk about her.
The only reason I got married is because I knew I couldn't go back and marry the shop girl from the big sleep.
Well, actually, we have a surprise guest. Here she is.
Ah, I wish.
Karen, you were going to say something earlier.
Oh, well, yeah, it was just about the character Walter Matthau plays, Henry. I really like some of the things, some of the specific things about the way that he's written because he's described as a playboy, but I think that it's so interesting because he's not like he's out spending money, he's doing whatever he wants, he's got fancy cars and stuff, but he's not like spending his time just trying to chase women. And when he's presented with this idea of, well, if you want to save your money, if you want to have money still and not lose everything, then you got to get married. And he's very upset about that, not just because he doesn't want to get married, but because he's just not interested
Sounds
in,
annoying.
yeah, like he's just not really interested in women. Like he's kind of coded as asexual, which I think is so
Yeah.
interesting, you know?
No,
You don't see that a lot.
no, because he's like, I don't want her touching my things, and
Hmm.
he's very,
And well,
it's
and
a,
that's the thing is like yes, because for the time period and even a lot of movies now, I think the temptation would be to make it seem like he's gay or to just overtly say that and that he can't marry a woman for whatever reason. But in this, it's like he doesn't seem to have any sort of urges, one way or the other. He's just interested in just having fun. That's all
and
he cares
I
about.
think he's married to the idea of money
Hmm.
and being and being wealthy and being just like living and coasting through life. Like
Yeah.
I think that is like the epitome of this movie. Is
Yeah,
in
he's not interested in any relationship with anybody.
no the I think the closest relationship he has is with the car
Yeah.
because he's like I've got to get this fixed every single day.
Great bit to start the movie.
Great bit to start the
Mhm.
movie. It's just like incredible. I had to go to the mechanic every single day to get it off, and they say, "Oh, it's this on the tires and all this stuff."
But also,
Well,
isn't
just
that
even the way
so?
that's introduced. Sorry, Jay.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say the way that it is presented is like there is this person on their deathbed, and he is very distraught over it, and then the fact that he never shows any adoration of another person over the course of this movie is obviously it's a funny bit to start the movie with in general, but it also like ties into everything that the movie is going to be about, and that is
Mhm.
good storytelling.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And just the thing is, it is a gradual progression of his character. It for somebody who's not paying attention, I think that the ending where he realizes he has fallen in love with her could seem like it comes out of nowhere. But I think the signs of that do start to happen with, even though he would never admit it, I think when they do meet, I think there is something that draws him to her after, especially after the run of bad luck he's had, trying
Which
to
is
accomplish his goal of just marrying for money.
a great
And
sequence in the
oh
film.
yeah, great, yeah. And then when he does start to dismiss the help because he realizes they're all ripping her off and everything, like I don't think that was just because he turns out to actually be good with money. I think it really bothers him that these people are taking advantage of her, even though he doesn't realize that that's what's driving him to do this.
Well, I think also too, like even it's like little details that she kind of puts throughout the film too, that kind of call to that ending as well, Karen, about he's so committed to because of the timetable, every attention to detail. Like I even picked up on it because I went back and this is something I rarely do. I watched the movie and then I went back and watched scenes afterwards. And when he's explaining to Harold about like we got to have this for the, and for the, when he's talking about the plans for the wedding and everything, and it goes literally specifically, and he's saying like what the wine has to be because she likes that certain wine, even though he's repulsed by it. We've already seen him have the scene where he's had to drink it multiple times.
That wine sounds disgusting.
It sounds disgusting. And everything. He's still willing to once again drink it again. He's not changing her opinion on it or whatnot. Like it's literally something to make her happy for this special occasion because it's her day. Like that's a little attention to detail there that kind of gets lost. And when people talk about that, because like if he was truly a selfish character, he would have spent that entire wedding making it about him or things he wanted. He literally makes her dreams come true. And that could be out of both things, both, unidentified affection as well as also desperation on his part to get the check. You know what I mean? So like in slowly, I think it becomes a lot more the former than the latter, and especially by the end of the film. And I think that that's sort of the brilliance of the writing of this movie, is that it's like it's dripping from the faucet, the romance, before it's, like a river flowing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
If it,
do you actually get emotional watching the end of this movie?
I did.
Do not.
I got emotional at the bed scene. I thought that was so endearing. I thought that was
I mean, I don't know.
Romantic.
Karen, do you get actually emotional about it? I mean, for me, it's like this very rushed romantic ending that is very apparently kind of an attempt to make this palatable or more normal, but I don't know how you feel.
I am definitely someone who gets like I cry at a lot of movies. Some of the movies I cry at the end of, I will not tell you because it's embarrassing.
No, come on. No, Karen.
All right, I'll give you.
I cried at the end of The Terminator, okay?
The first one?
Yes.
I'll tell you, I got
really?
something way more embarrassing than that.
Oh,
I didn't all the way cry watching it. My wife and I were watching, what were we watching? Goodrich last night. We watched Goodrich. And honestly, I didn't cry watching
the Michael Keaton movie?
The Michael Keaton movie. Yeah, it's like totally solid.
It's so in your wheelhouse.
It is
Goodrich.
Solid.
It's like if you might as well put Tom Hanks as Goodrich. That's kind of like what it is.
I mean, it is. It's pretty decent. But that
wasn't
the one
Man
I cried
Called
at.
Otto.
That wasn't the one I cried at. I also didn't cry at A Man Called Otto. I don't think that movie's very good.
Finch.
But Finch, I bawled my eyes out.
No, I know you did.
But then after that, we were just browsing around Paramount Plus for whatever reason.
Oh, the Plus?
We watched the first 20 minutes of Rugrats in Paris. And I got extremely emotional in the opening scene of Rugrats in Paris, where every baby is dancing with their mom, and then Chucky doesn't have a mom, and his dad doesn't feel comfortable taking him out on the dance floor, and then Chucky reaches up for him. I was like, oh man. I mean, it got me pretty good. Got me more than the ending of A New Leaf, I'll tell you that much.
Well, and that's the thing, is like I very much cry in a lot of movies. I don't cry at the end of this one either, but I do definitely feel like, oh, he's not such a terrible guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is.
I just was overcome by the movies. Just the endearing nature of it, guys. I don't know what
that's great.
It just proves that I'm not, she broke through that hard shell of his. Like, and
I mean, it's no Rugrats in Paris. But.
He was, I mean, he wasn't expecting. I mean, like, it's also the way Matthau plays it, because he's about to just discard or blow off what this is, and he goes, "Oh, I guess
he's about to carry out the plan that he's had.
Yeah, he's about to kill her. You know what I mean? And then he's like, "Oh,
no, he got the ultimate. It was right there. He drew a royal flush on the draw.
Yeah, and then he's just like, oh, I guess we made our, I guess we're part of this together, kind of like a marriage, kind of like this is meant to be. Without me and you ever connected, we would have never had this. You would have never had this breakthrough, and that's, it's kind of special.
He turns over a new leaf because she discovered a new leaf.
Exactly. It's brilliant. It made me so happy. I was sitting there. I was like, oh man, this movie's got the goods. And it was one of those, I was mad at myself by the end of it. I was mad that I had not seen this movie beforehand. That's why I was like, man, this is so good. Like it's I'm gonna rewatch this multiple times from here on out. It's like because it's so funny
You
too.
definitely should have seen it sooner, but better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Karen. I felt
Yeah.
like that was almost mean. And then she
You
was like,
guys
well,
have
but
y'all are making up after all these years. You got a ways to go, but we'll get there. But no, I mean we should have mentioned how funny the movie is. I think it's so funny. Anybody favorite scene?
no, I think my favorite scene is him firing everyone. I think it's so funny. Like the part it turning from a surprise party. It's the whole sequence from really in the house. The moment he gets in there, they're all in it. You've got them the old lady trying to rush him up the stairs while they're trying to get all the housemates and everything, and then finding out about the affair, like how much these people made. Like what was it, $600 a week for a valet in 1971? That's got to be
Pretty good.
that's got to be insane money, right? If you, I think Karen's looking it up, or
I
maybe
am,
maybe
because
she's
now I'm
look.
like, I'm
How much?
curious.
How much is that? Because the what was it? The head of like her household was pulling in what, $35,000 is what he said.
Yeah, I think
All
so.
so what's $35,000 in 1971 equate to? That's a good that's a good question. Anyway, I just think him.
Well, $600 a
Uh-huh.
week is $4,706 in 2025.
They were doing all right.
So she's pulling down 4,800 bucks a week, basically.
Jeez,
I can
And
handle that.
then $35,000 a year.
it would be $272,745 now.
You did that
Yep.
off the top of your head, Ryan?
I just
It's pretty
pretty
impressive.
good with numbers and also typing in Google. Um, but yeah, I think that whole sequence it was the moment I was like, man, this movie's great. Because like in other movies, I feel like maybe not in an Elaine May movie, but in other movies, we would have seen Henry continue to. He would have made a deal with them, made them been super slimy, probably with them the entire time. There would have been like this. You just feel the template of a regular comedy, and I don't know. There was just something different about that scene to me. It stood out for me the most. JD, you have a favorite scene?
Oh, I mean, there are so many choices. I think the scene where he learns that he is broke is very funny. That's definitely one of my favorites. I love the honeymoon sequences. I think are absolutely hysterical. I mean, when you see him with that like toxicology for dummies book while she's hanging over the edge of a cliff. I mean, that's very funny. Um, but you can't really go wrong. I don't think thinking back on it, it's not like I'm not sure there's a bad scene in the movie.
No,
It's a short movie, it's an hour 40, and it is just so clever,
it moves.
relentlessly clever.
Yeah,
My favorite scene actually is, I mean, those are great, and you're wrong. I don't think there's a bad scene in this movie. But the one that I just crack up is when she goes to her lawyer accountant guy, who's it, Jack Weston,
hmm,
and basically it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna marry this guy, and then he gets the phone call from Henry's uncle, and then he brings the two of them in, and he's sitting down with them because he's got this big reveal of like, I know your secrets, and he tells this fake story about how he was just about to end his life, and then she walked into his life, and what I love about that scene is how it seems like, oh, he's busted, this isn't going to work out, and then um what's his name, Andy, he continues, he's just still pressing the point, and even after this this bullshit scene or this bullshit lie that he tells that Andy knows is a lie, then he's like, yeah, this guy's gonna take all your money. That's all he wants to do. He's gonna take all your money, and all your friends are gonna know that that's all he's doing. And then she's like, what a great idea. I'm just gonna give him access to all my
Yeah,
accounts, and
that
then he'll
is
just
so
have
funny.
my money.
That way, no one will think he married me for my money.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, so like, and the whole like off frame is Harold George Rose, who's just like, he's like, cannot believe that this is turned from like they're about to get caught to, oh my god, we got everything we wanted, like in a
Yeah.
matter of seconds.
It's so
Well
good.
done.
So good.
It was giving me a little bit of the energy from the Birdcage in that moment,
Mhm.
watching that, of just
Yeah.
like completely of just
Yeah.
like thinking you're in a trap but finding your way out of it. Like she is
Mhm.
has a wonderful knack of being able to
But
honestly write her characters into corners and find ways for them to get out in logical ways for her own film's logic's sake.
I also just love what this does for Elaine's character too, for Henrietta, because um I mean, she's ditzy, but she's also a professor. She has studied,
Very
she's
smart.
got a PhD. She's a very smart woman, and she just is full of love and trust, and she's just
yeah,
like,
that
you know
is
what?
it. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
God, she's sweet.
That's why it's also very easy to take advantage of her,
Mhm.
because it's very easy to take advantage of people that have the open
That
ability
have such
to,
kind hearts. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's, Jay does it to me all the time.
Well, but then it is sort of like the
Yeah.
most naive people in the world are trust fund babies who have never been exposed to anything but the things that they wanted. So there's an ounce of that too. They're kind of two sides of the same coin where,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Henry, and I think that's why they called him Henry and Henrietta to a certain
Oh, well,
degree,
there you
if you
go.
know what
Oh,
I'm
look at
saying.
that.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Look at what we're doing here, folks.
But her privilege has sort of led her into a blissful, sweet naivete, and his trust fund has sort of turned him into this defensive. And certainly once it's gone, I mean, now that it's gone, he's like, well, the world was always going to make sure that I did not fulfill my entire social potential. And so it just shows you that the two kind of perspectives that you can have when you're presented with such privilege, and then how, I mean, I guess what does that say about the end of the story? I don't really know, because he does. Is it safe to say that this is a movie about the most miserable man in the world finding happiness? Is that what this movie is about?
I don't know if that's like the point of it.
But at the end of the day, that's sort of the arc of the movie from scene 1 to scene 90.
To me, I think it's kind of what I was saying at the beginning, where I feel like it's showing that it's possible for anybody to change. Even this guy who had his priorities all out of whack and who married this woman with the full intention of murdering her, which, by the way, I would like to see the version of this movie that does include murders, because supposedly it existed at one point.
The 3.5 hour cut.
Yes, I would watch every
Oh, where
minute
it's
of
like,
it.
is it like visions of all of her, like of how he's murdering her the whole time?
There's a lot of vision. No, he literally kills 2 people.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like actual
So
murders.
so there's like no redeeming quality to Henry probably in that.
No,
in that
and
sense.
Ryan, who was supposed to play the Walter Matthau character at
Oh,
first, as written, the person she had in mind as she was writing the screenplay.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know it's two of the people that were up for the role. Was it Cary Grant?
Cary Grant was offered the role. She wrote it for Cary Grant, and Cary Grant read the script and said, "This isn't really my persona. Like,
No,
I can't be this nasty."
He would have been great.
I mean, he would have been great, but it wasn't his persona. I'm sure his
Yeah.
agent was like, Cary, come on
Come
now.
on, come on now. I know also I read that Christopher Plummer was considered for the role as well too. But went to
Oh, I didn't
Matthau.
read that one. I just knew about the Cary Grant one.
Yeah. But it went to Matthau, who's perfect for this.
He's so perfect. But yeah, I think that ultimately this is about showing that even he can be redeemed. But I do agree. I think that it's interesting to see the way you have these two people who came up in similar circumstances. Neither of them have their parents. He's only got an uncle. She has no family left. And um, she chose to get an education and she doesn't need to work. So she picked a job that, I mean, for her in 1971, being a college professor probably didn't pay a whole lot. Men definitely would make more. But she didn't need the money, so she followed her passion. He also followed his passions, but none of that had anything to do with
But his passion
anything
was
that
money.
could exactly. No, it didn't have anything to do with bettering himself or doing anything good for society. It was,
But she by the end sparks passion, or at least
I mean,
a
sparks is a strong word because she is just like, do you want to teach history? Not really. But do you want to teach history? Maybe.
and then
Oh,
by the end he's like, I think it's more from him maybe to be like a, okay, yeah,
but
like,
again, this is a guy whose only enthusiasm in life is his car. So the fact that she gets
yeah,
anything out of him by the end, I mean,
that's
it's a
true.
big step.
yeah, I mean, like, and it's, I mean, the typical sort of Hollywood ending would have been like him just like a giant speech at the end, professing his love, and that's just not true to the character. Him realizing that the best thing is to just follow her lead is the right way, because it's gotten him to find the best version of himself, like we've found throughout the film. So I think that yes, while it feels begrudging, we're gonna see, like, he's like, you want me to grade papers with you, and it's his way of saying, you want me to sit by the fire and come home and go to school with you and grow old together. Like,
I
in
love
his way, it's the sweetest way you're gonna get it from him, and it is. I felt very sweet by the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, I love that these two managed to find these two very specific and very unique individuals managed to find each other. And they're probably the only people that could work for each other,
Yeah,
because he's not, like I said before, he's not someone who's like, been chasing women or anything like that. Like that's not part of his life. He doesn't care about that. And so to have someone who's not just like expecting that kind of a partner and they just complement each other and he's got qualities that she needs, she's got qualities he needs, and it's just this like it's a perfect movie, not a perfect movie, but it's just such a like these characters are just so good together, and I just
they're particular individuals that are made for each other.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Jay,
One's miserable and one is the complete opposite.
exactly.
But
And maybe
together they
there's
find something
maybe
somewhere in
there's
the
a
middle.
middle
Maybe
in
there's an
there.
opposites attract sort of thing there too, buddy.
Can we talk about the making of the movie? Because I think there
Yeah,
are some
Probably
genuinely
should.
very interesting choices made. I mean, the scene for me that sticks out is when he goes out to the lake, and there is this interesting sort of first person perspective that we see being shot. And it does speak to, I think if there's one thing that this movie does, and I think it is because of kind of her lack of film education per se, and her kind of just flying off the seat of her pants in it, is she does a really interesting job of sort of like breaking traditional like movie geography, where it's like you got to
yep.
stay in this square, you got to, the light is going here, so we cannot betray the light or whatever it may be. And I think this is something that you actually see in all of her movies too, especially the first three, where it is just like there are imperfections to what's going on in the frame that I think are very compelling. And maybe you call some of those accidental, maybe not. I do think this is largely a very kind of focused, purposeful movie, even if she was learning on the fly. And the sense of space, I think, is very interesting in this film.
There's a scene where they're in a restaurant sitting across from each other, and the camera is focused on him, and you can see the two of them having this conversation. You're looking at her reflection in the mirror behind him. And so the camera doesn't have to move. And I love the way that that's shot because it's so clever. Because you're able to have both of them in the frame without having to shift back and forth. And and it's just and that's the kind of thing that I think a more experienced filmmaker probably wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah. I mean, there are some parts where you feel the rawness of her filmmaking. But I would say largely the originality that comes from, again, sort of that lack of education. I think a lot of the time the film education is learning what not to do, which I think could be a problem. And so Elaine May doesn't know what not to do, and so she tries it all. And so by doing things that generally are considered unappealing, in this case, a lot of that stuff really works, and that's why it feels so unique in that way.
It's also why the movie ended up like $4 million over budget.
Oh yeah, absolute disaster.
Yeah. I mean,
and if you want to talk about like why she hasn't made that many movies, it's sort of generally how her movies tend to go.
She does kind of have a pattern of that.
Yeah, she's got I planned it this way, and then it actually ends up being this way.
Or on this one, she just didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah,
and didn't realize how time is money.
But she did also have to take a massive pay cut from what she originally. I mean, she originally was going to sell this thing.
Well, her agent absolutely,
and her agent just
eviscerated her.
Basically, be like, "Well, you're a first time director. You're not going to get paid that much." And then she wanted certain actresses to play Henrietta, and the studio was just like, "Well, if we're paying her to write and direct this thing, you want to act in it too?" A lot of ways, and kind of convinced her into that as well. And so, I mean, for your first film, you got to pay significantly less than what you were going to sell the script for. Got screwed by your agent, and you're doing triple duty here. That's a lot to take in to kind of on your first go around and for this all to work. And so I actually, in this case, am not surprised that the budget got blown up, because it's just like you're saying, Jay, you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants a little bit here, trying to make sure this all works to have even a
oh my god. I mean, if you put me on a set today and said, "Hey, film this scene," it would take me 5 days to just like set up the lights. I would be like, I don't understand.
You don't have to set up the lights, right? Like the other people.
there's like gaffers and
there's people
that'll
do that for you, buddy.
No, I'm an auteurist. So
I think the thing about if you did a film today, it's who you surround yourself with to make those films. That's probably be the best thing for you, because people will help you.
But to Jay's point, like you set me on a movie set, and I've been on movie sets before, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Karen could do it.
Completely lost, but I would probably still figure something out, and it'd be really cool because I'm awesome.
Yeah. And then we review it on this show. Karen would,
let's do it.
And we'd have Karen on, and she wouldn't be able to talk. We would just go scene by scene, whether good, bad, and then we compare it to it.
So weird that Karen never made another movie. What happened?
Yeah. What is this movie about? Film criticism?
As long as I can make you cry at the end.
Is it?
I really am like blown away that you cried at the end of this movie. Like,
what's wrong with that?
Ryan's a softie.
That's actually kind of true. Like,
I know.
I've turned into a softie over the years. Yeah, I've turned into softies over the years. I cried. I was. This is a true story. Jay knows this story. Karen, I don't think you know this, or maybe you do, because we talked about it in 2019. I cried so much during the ending and the beginning of Toy Story 4 that I cried like aggressive. I had to control myself, and then I got in the car. My wife was with me, and I finished the cry in the car. That's how hard it can go sometimes.
I remember crying on a date at Up.
Oh.
I was the only one on the date that cried.
Oh, well then it wasn't meant to be,
tough.
Was it?
No, I guess not.
No.
I fell asleep in a movie on a date once.
Which movie?
It was one of the Transformers movies. I didn't cry at that one.
You were just tired. You were tired from all the making out.
All the bayhem. Yeah.
Weirdly, he never called again.
What's the hardest movie you guys have ever cried to? in the theater, at home, either one.
Two.
Jay, is it Tree of Life for you? That gets you.
No,
You cried
that's
on a
not
podcast
like
for that
that's
one.
not like, oh my God, I'm dying. That's just like steady tears of transcendental like evocation. Honestly, the movie I maybe have cried the hardest at is E.T.
Yeah.
E.T. makes
Love
me cry
E.T..
so hard.
I cried a ton when I was a kid when I saw that movie.
Gray E.T., you kidding me?
Yeah.
Come on,
The
man.
first movie I remember crying during in the theater watching was My Girl.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Can't
That's,
see without his glasses.
oh man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of the most memorable experiences I have of crying in the theater was actually the movie Lion. And I remember
The Dev
with Dev
Patel
Patel
film.
and Nicole
Oh.
Kidman, which is great. I still love that movie. But what made it so memorable was I was just like a mess, and I felt so dumb. And it was at AFI actually, and I just felt so silly because of not because I was crying, but because of how much I was crying. But then I could hear other people like sniffling behind me. And then after the movie was over, I realized that Ken Turan from the LA Times was one of the people behind me also crying his eyes out. And I was like, okay, now I feel better.
I cried during
him.
I cried during Lion too. I saw Nicole Kidman's wig. And
oh, stop it.
A Star Is Born made me cry real hard.
Oh yeah.
As well.
The new one?
The new one.
When the dog's like right outside, when he,
man, when the
That's
dog
rough.
and when Sam Elliott is backing out of the driveway. As soon as he backs out of the driveway, it's like, man, waterworks.
I cried
the rest of the movie.
I don't enjoy that movie, but that scene definitely got me.
I very much enjoy that movie, and that scene very much got me.
Man, I don't think I cried last year.
I just Googled movies that make you cry.
Oh, no,
Number one on the list is Beautiful Boy. So they're really going for that Oscar for Timmy. They're really putting the SEO.
I wouldn't say like that's a movie you cry to. Like that's a rough watch, but it's not like it's not something that's kind of.
I cried because I was watching it.
Yeah, that movie sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry. Karen and I can agree on that.
They got Blue Valentine on here. That's a movie I think is great, but that does.
I don't cry during that movie.
What's the opposite of crying? Where it's like
laughing,
implosion.
Yeah,
it's like
I uncomfortably laughed during that movie. I think it's so messed up.
I've said it. The two scariest movies of all time are Blue Valentine and Schenectady, New York. Those are the two scariest movies ever made. Yeah.
I think most of Kaufman's movies are pretty terrifying when you really think about it. But no, I wouldn't say I cried during either one of those. But yeah, I don't know. Karen, did you cry in a movie last year?
I cried a lot
during Nickel Boys
time.
Oh, We Live in Time.
I cried at Nickel Boys. I bawled my eyes out at We Live in Time. A movie that I think is.
But that's
I'm gonna admit that movie got me too.
That movie, I think it got me a little bit. But I think that's the nature of that movie to get you. Not in like a manip.
I mean, it
isn't a
made to do that.
That was made in a tear factor.
Daughters is the movie that made me sob my eyes out.
Karen, that's a good one.
So good. I also cried in watching A Real Pain.
I cried during
when Culkin has that, like when he breaks down
on the bus.
Yes.
Yeah. I cried during The Room Next Door. My mom had cancer, and that one really hit me hard, and it was, I don't know, when Julianne Moore sees the red door closed and realizes that Tilda Swinton, is gone. Like I just immediately tears.
Deadpool and Wolverine. One that actually almost got me was My Old Ass. That one has one scene at the end that really got me on the verge.
I will say I think the movie that's shell shocked me though the most, made me cry, and then I needed to go take a walk. That was Zone of Interest 2 years ago. I was at Telluride. I had to skip the movie I was going to see because it was just that was such an experience. And then I heard Glazer was there for a Q&A, and it kind of just opened up that movie even more, and it was, you know, without a full Aronofsky sort of explaining everything. And yeah, I was like, okay, well, I've got to go take a walk because that was a lot. And then 2 hours later, I saw All of Us Strangers, and then just kind of broke again. So
So
2023 was a more rough year.
The
you know?
Pixar movie that makes me cry the most actually is freaking Coco.
Coco.
Oh, Coco is so
Yeah.
good. That's actually my favorite Pixar. Yeah,
Your favorite Pixar is Coco?
it
So
is.
good.
I love that.
I love Coco.
Mhm.
My son loves Coco.
It's so beautiful, and I love the story, and I love, you know, the being connected to your ancestors and just the whole message of it, and like not wanting to be forgotten and also not wanting to forget the people that you care about. It's just,
My
oh,
my
it's so
my
good.
wife's grandmother at the time was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and then we was like, okay, well, we need to get out of the house and go see a movie to, you know, keep our minds off of this because it was really sad. And then that was the movie we chose, and so
Mm.
we're in the theater,
Oh
and
no.
we were a mess, the both of us,
Yeah.
and we were like, that was the dumbest decision, but it was so beautiful. And then we went to church with her family that year, and in the church choir, this little girl came up there and she sang "Remember Me."
Oh,
And I tell you what, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was, and she was so cute too. She had a little dress on. It was the cutest thing ever. Jade, does the Jet still like the blanket I got him?
No, he loves it. He loves
Oh,
that Coco blanket.
I
Ryan
got him a
my
Coco
son
blanket.
a Coco blanket for
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Ryan always takes care of
He
them.
loves it because Coco has
Kids.
always been one of his faves. He loves music. So,
Well, he loves. That's why he loves Lilo and Stitch, and I got him the stuff Stitch the year before.
yep, that is true.
Yeah.
He loves that. Movie that really made me cry, to me, very underrated Disney movie, The Fox and the Hound.
I thought
That's
you were going to say The Straight Story.
that one gets me. Philadelphia, that movie makes me cry really hard.
I thought when you were saying straight, I thought you were going to say The Straight Story because it's Disney and it's David Lynch, and that's.
It is that.
Do
That
you
is
cry
true.
during that one? Did you cry at the end
Straight
of that
Story? No.
one? No. Fox and Hound's a classic though.
oh yeah.
The wife and I are thinking of like just going and buying all the Disney animated movies. So then we don't have to
I watched
be
every
subscribed to Disney Plus
animated
anymore.
movie over the pandemic.
What was the
That
best
me.
one? Top three. What was the best?
I mean, what a hard question. The real grower for me was Sleeping Beauty, which is just one of the most beautiful animated movies ever made.
Mm.
And
Gorgeous, yeah.
there were some sinkers as well. Peter Pan, bad. Cinderella, bad.
Whoa.
I'm throwing out some hot takes. But Sleeping Beauty was magnificent. I mean, if I have to just go top three off the top of my head, I
Magnificent
do
or
have a
Maleficent?
Renaissance biased. There's simply no denying it. I do think I probably still have Lion King number one, and we're not considering like Pixar, right? Like that is a part of
No,
this.
you wouldn't. know.
Lion King, Sleeping Beauty. I mean, for me, it's probably Aladdin.
Okay. Karen, do you have a favorite Disney?
Beauty and the Beast.
Karen's got the right
That's
answer.
my wife's favorite. Yeah.
Karen's got the right answer. Thank you.
So good.
Jay's got the best Pixar though is
Ratatouille.
okay, and Karen's got Coco.
Hmm.
I'll take The Incredibles.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Whoa, that sounds so mean.
Yikes.
I don't like The Incredibles.
Really?
I love The Incredibles, and I
love
love Incredibles too.
I liked Incredibles 2 more than the first one.
I love Ratatouille though. Ratatouille's
Brad Bird, man.
man.
Mhm.
Where's he at?
He's
Hey,
got
Brad.
Incredibles 3 on the way.
God damn it. God damn it. You know when people like this we've already gone on side tangents to side tangent, but you know when like people go to the D23 conference.
I've been there. It's awesome. So fun.
Okay, never mind then. I was just like
That's why I thought I should probably tell you before you said whatever.
I
you
probably
said.
should have, right? No, Karen, this is you excluded. I
Oh,
just
okay.
like
Of course,
I just
of course.
of course, right? Yeah.
I did not pay money. I went with as press.
That's
Let's be
fair.
Clear.
That's fair.
There's a
No, I mean like
difference.
if it's your job to cover it.
Yeah.
Like when did you go, Karen? Like recently or
It was a couple of years. It was before the pandemic.
Okay.
Probably that 2019 is probably
Okay.
when I went.
Like for me, like I sit there and I go like, you just want to go sit in a room and hear a bunch of announcements to pretty much like movies that are just sequels to the things that you like, like who wants to go
That's
I'm
and
what the
assuming
Hall
there is
H is
more
at
to it
San
than
Diego, and
that.
yeah, I'm
it's
not
But
going
so
there
fun.
either. I'm not
It's
going there
so
either
fun.
though.
You're missing out.
I take it back. Lion King, Lilo and Stitch, Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, okay. Well, the
I
Lilo and
forgot about Stitch.
well, Stitch gets the bump because of the kid, right?
Yeah, that definitely helps. I do think that is just a
It's a good
lovely
movie
film,
though.
though.
Are you nervous about the live action?
Those live action films cannot hurt me anymore.
I did enjoy the tie-in commercial at the Super
Oh, the
Bowl.
Super Bowl commercial was fun.
Yeah.
I think the way
That's
Stitch
from
looks is really good.
the shell guy,
Marcelo Show?
Marcel and a shell.
Oh
That's who's
wait, he's
directing that,
directing it?
right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay, maybe it's got a shot.
maybe it's got a shot.
Well, I mean, like Pete's Dragon was really good.
Mhm.
No, they're capable of making that, but the problem is the thing about Pete's Dragon is nobody cared about Pete's Dragon, and so they could sort of just
Yeah,
make whatever the movie they wanted to
that's
make.
true.
Everyone else has been so slavishly committed to recreating the original movie, and it except but making it look like real life, which makes it not fun.
I didn't think
Um,
Barry did a bad job with Mufasa.
I haven't seen
thought
Mufasa yet.
it was not as bad as I thought it could have been.
I agree. I mean, I didn't love it, but oh
No,
my gosh, what a beautiful movie.
yeah, and just in terms of visually, much
Hmm.
more appealing than the first go around of that.
Yeah, like I know one of
The
the criticisms of The Lion King was that the animals just
dead
had
eyes.
blank expressions,
Yeah,
and he fixed that problem. So,
yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it.
Really?
so Elaine May.
So yeah, a new leaf. Any other thoughts you have on this really great film? Anything else?
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty to talk about. I love when he's proposing to her and he puts
Oh,
his knee directly into glass. It's very funny.
Yeah.
And then in that Elaine Main way, he just says like, "Oh, yeah, I do that. It like keeps my posture upright. It makes sure that I sit up straight." It's just it really is sort of a machine gun of lines that are delivered with such a straight face that you almost wouldn't realize they're jokes until you realize how freaking funny they are.
Hmm.
That's the Elaine May thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. And you even see that in something more serious with Mikey and Nikki, which I know you guys are going to talk about in a couple of weeks too. Like she definitely does have that down, that ability to get you to laugh at things without even realizing at
Yeah.
first. It's yeah, she's such a gifted writer.
Yeah, and I think
And
that's true in, like the Birdcage, I think is exactly that way,
Mhm.
where it's a line where sometimes you don't realize how funny it was until 5 seconds later.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really cool thing to watch that is
I mean,
very rare.
her acceptance speech in the Governor's Awards when she finally got an honorary Oscar is the same thing. And this is, all these years later. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch it because it's a gem.
Watch that one, and then her giving her at the AFI tribute for Mike Nichols.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
really good.
That
Yeah.
video.
Yes.
If you want to lighten up your day, watch that.
Oh my
Because
gosh, yes.
that is the one where it's like someone's going to come out here and
I think
and
that's
write.
the one I was actually thinking of. Thank you.
They're both great. Her acceptance
Yeah.
speech is wonderful, but yeah, that one I was like, man, that was totally written by her. It's in her comic timing. You could see Nichols's face that entire time, just like absolutely eating it up. Like no,
He
like
has such a love for her. It's
he does.
Mhm.
so wonderful.
It's such a
Yeah.
great friendship that the two of them have. I do want to, I mean, Jay, you did talk about sort of the production problems. I mean, this movie took 10 months to edit, like we sort of mentioned, and 40 days over the schedule. The producers during the shoot, they tried to replace her. But she had put a $200,000 penalty clause in her contract, which would be around $1.6 million in 2024. So they said, "Never mind," and let her finish the movie. So
He also
it's very kind of
sued
smart.
the movie when it was finally edited and said, "I want damages and I want my name taken off of the movie." And then apparently the judge watched the movie and was like, "This movie's great. What are you talking about?" Dismissed.
um, no, it's kind of hard to not watch and be like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Like um, why wouldn't you want your name on this? Because it's just such a great
I
movie.
don't believe that you want your name taken off of this movie.
It would not be a
Dismissed.
good move. You know what I mean? And but anyway, it's a absolutely fantastic film. I agree with you, Jay. I also think too the unsung hero of this movie, and we haven't. I don't think we've talked nearly enough about George Rose's Harold. I think he's really good in this. I think that scene where Henry has to tell him that he doesn't have any money, and he's just like, this is going to be the plan. Da, 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 da. But I'm also officially putting my 2 weeks notice in. Like, I'm not going to stick around and be with you because you are kind of a horrible person. And he's only sticking around there because it's a job, But then you see as the movie goes on too, he's very wrapped up into things as well. Him at the top of the stairs when he's bringing in the suitcases at Henrietta's place. Another moment just made me absolutely laugh hard. Just so exhausted over this whole experience of going in there. So
yeah,
good.
I think in general, all the characters, like they have something about them that is not the obvious thing. So, like, yeah, you have well, I mean, obviously we've already talked about Henry and Henrietta and their things, but like the Jack Weston character who seems like he's just trying to do his job and protect her from this guy that just wants to rob her blind, but turns out he's doing that too.
Mhm.
And
Doris
yeah,
Roberts,
like
her as well.
right. Like there's just something about everybody and everybody's trying to pull something or just they're not exactly as they first appear. And I love that writing and I love the humor and just the results of that when people kind of get thrown into scenes together and kind of work through some of that and because it just leads to very funny moments.
Yeah, like
What's your Matthau?
What are you talking
Like,
about?
what's your number one Matthau?
Oh God. Um
I mean, for me, it's probably The Odd Couple.
yeah. Jay, what is it for you?
Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
No, no doubt about it. One of the best final shots in history.
I mean, that is fantastic.
that is a fantastic one.
And speaking of the Odd Couple, Nichols, like Matthau was very important in Mike Nichols' career.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So nice little connection there. And again, it also has a very similar plot to The Fortune, which was an adaptation. But I like to imagine they had a conversation about spouses, like a spouse killing an heiress. And then they both made movies about it. And Elaine May's movie was way better.
Yeah. I think he's good in Bad News Bears too. That's
Great
what
and
the
Bad News
original.
Bears.
So it's a great
He's
actor.
good in A Face in the Crowd, which
Dennis
is
the
one of his
Menace.
earliest movies.
I don't think The Fortune Cookie is very good.
You think so?
Which is where he got his Oscar. I don't think that movie's that good.
No.
I haven't actually watched that one.
Well, you watched it, Jay, because of the Billy Wilder.
I've
series
seen
they
all
did
the
in the
Billies.
past. Seen all the Billies. See, I tell you, Karen, when we watch a director, we try to watch all of them. And if not, and not both
I
of us,
do,
at least Jay
certainly.
does. Jay does
Yeah.
for sure. I try to at least.
There's a lot of Billy Wilder movies. Some of them are not very good.
No, some of them are very. They're movies.
You ever
They
seen
exist.
the Bing Crosby one?
Which one?
The Emperor Waltz, the Bing Crosby Billy Wilder movie.
Karen?
Brutal stuff.
No, I haven't.
It's tough.
Sometimes I also just let Jay do this to himself. Karen, a little bit like.
I mean, there are times
Well,
where
right
it
now
does.
I'm asking myself, how many Billy Wilder movies have I seen?
I mean,
There's a lot.
there's
There
a
are
lot of them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. What's your favorite Wilder?
Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't
Jay?
even have to think about that one. It's that.
That's mine as well. It's boring, but actually, it's not really. I guess maybe if you took a poll, The Apartment might end up being number one.
The Apartment is very close second for me.
Apartment rocks.
Man,
The one that I love, the real, like the reason I do that completionist garbage is because sometimes you watch a movie that absolutely rocks that you probably otherwise wouldn't have watched. That was 1, 2, 3 for me. A great Billy Wilder comedy.
Yeah.
James Cagney. But my
yeah.
favorite is Sunset Boulevard.
I gotta say that it's probably Sunset Boulevard, but shout out Ace in the Hole.
Ace in the Hole rules as well.
That is a brilliant movie.
That's a banger.
You know, oh man.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Some Like It Hot.
Nope. Oh, that
Billy Wilder's last
Double
movie
Indemnity.
ever starred Walter Matthau.
Witness for the Prosecution. These are just, man, we really should. Jay, would you do Wilder again?
I would need a while to do Wilder again. Okay. I would need a Wilder to do him again.
I see what you did.
I mean, there's a lot of, he is one of those guys. He's sort of like Nichols, where he made a bunch of stuff and he has 3 or 4 movies that are embedded in the culture.
Yeah. Oh, he's one of the greats. He's one of the great writers.
It's such a good look too.
Yeah. Anyway,
Elaine May.
Jay.
Elaine May.
Jay.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, we're going to test your award season knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, A New Leaf. In a segment we like to call It's an Honor to Get Nominated. Now, Jay, we talked a lot about the Academy Awards over the course of the Nichols series. So I got to ask you, A New Leaf was it nominated for any Academy Awards?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be talking as much about the Oscars, talking about Elaine May as we did with some of the Nichols stuff. But this one, I think it upset some producers. I think it was fairly small. It was a modest success at the box office. And it just being kind of weird, I'm going to guess it got no Oscar nominations.
Sadly, Jay is correct. But it did pull out 2 Golden Globe nominations.
Okay.
For Best Musical or Comedy. Best Picture, I mean. And Best Actress Musical or Comedy for Elaine May. And it also pulled out a WGA nomination for Elaine May, Best Comedy adapted from, Best Adapted Comedy. I guess they broke it down by genre back then, which is kind of cool. If that happened today, Karen and myself would probably pull our hairs if the WGA did that. Could you imagine that they already disqualify a lot of screenplays over there, and then if they did it by genre too, like some of the guilds do with other stuff? I don't actually kind of mind that with costumes and stuff, but writing, I mean, maybe not so much. But sadly, this was not nominated for any Academy Awards. This was in 1971, so it would be the ceremony in 1972. Jay, we've talked about this year. 1971.
What year was this?
This was the year that
was this a Friedkin?
Willie Friedkin won for The French Connection.
Okay. Yes, he did.
All right.
I was a year off.
It's okay. It's okay. No, Karen. It's okay. You know, he gets it. Jay gets
Brian,
confused all the time.
This must have been like a bad fight y'all were in. I mean, this is...
Also, shout out Kevin Jacobson. This was the year I covered on And the Runner Up Is for Best Actresses, Jane Fonda and Clute this year. Would you guys have nominated this movie for any Academy Awards?
I'm sure I haven't seen all of these, but I would give Elaine May a nom for acting for sure.
For acting, okay. Let me take a look here, since I've seen all these films. It was Jane Fonda for Clute, Julie Christie for McCabe and Miss Miller, Glenda Jackson for Sunday Bloody Sunday, Vanessa Redgrave, Mary Queen of Scott, and Janet Sussman for Nicholas and Alexandra. I would totally put Elaine May in there and kick out Janet Sussman.
Put her in there. Come on. I mean, screenplay is a given.
Karen, have you seen Nicholas and Alexandra?
I have not.
Just don't.
I don't plan to.
You find 3 hours of your life to spend on another project. It was one of those like last of the hurrah sort of those big epics, and it's terrible. It's so poorly paced. It is a knockoff imitation of a David Lean movie, and one of the roughest movies I've had to watch. Not Kevin's fault. Just, the Academy's fault in 1972.
Yeah.
Wow, Ryan hates Kevin.
No, that's not true. Don't start that, you monster. And also, I kind of would kick out Vanessa Redgrave in Mary Queen of Scots. I think she's fine, but I don't think she's like great in that.
Yeah, there are other performances I would have put in that year.
Yeah. But Jane Fonda's great in Clute.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Jay knows how much I love McCabe Miss Miller. That's my favorite Altman. And I think Julie Christie's incredible in that. Though
That's
I kind of think she's
number one of the year.
I kind of think she's supporting in a lot of ways, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I would nominate Elaine May. I put it up for a screenplay.
Screenplay for sure. I mean, that's a home run. That's easy.
Yeah, I think it can go in there over the Garden of Finzi.
I would definitely kick out the.
Wait, what was the first one? The Garden.
The which one, Karen?
Clockwork Orange. Get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'm kidding. I've actually never watched that movie.
I was about to say, I think it's pretty good.
I have intentionally not watched that movie.
It's a lot.
Very, it is very a lot.
It is a lot.
What did you say that first screenplay nominee was?
The Garden of
The Garden of the Finzi Continis.
Yeah,
that should have won.
By Vittorio Bonicelli and Ugo Piero, based on a novel by Giorgio Bassani.
That is a movie I've never seen, didn't even know existed until right now, and so it can leave. Can I say something kind of controversial, guys?
You already have.
I'll allow it.
Okay. Oh, what was I said that was controversial, Karen? I don't know.
I mean, it's just I can say that anytime every 10 minutes with you, and it's probably true.
It's probably true. I'm like the biggest fan of The Last Picture Show.
Why? Because it wasn't literally like the last movie. You found it to be false advertising?
No, I was just like, I watched it. I was like, it's all right.
You know what? Never seen it.
Never seen it, Karen?
Mm-mm.
I haven't either.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, guys. All right. Well, look at me trying to go out on a limb here and see if I was right or wrong, and then neither one of you are like, "We're not here to help you, dude."
I think this is the first time I've admitted out loud that I haven't seen that movie, because that's one that people expect you to have seen. But
yeah, that is true. It's an embarrassing.
Definitely a blind spot.
Blind spot.
It's I mean, it's fine. Like, I was kind of underwhelmed by it, but maybe give it another shot down the road. Who knows? What's y'all's biggest?
Just a couple more years, we could have got Bogdanovich on the pod.
Karen, do you have I mean, obviously you just admitted to The Last Picture Show is a big blind spot. Do you have like a big blind spot still?
Probably.
Jay, do you have one?
I mean, I'm sure I do. We talk about movies on this podcast all the time where I'm like, should I admit that I haven't seen that? Sure, why not? I mean, I'm positive there are probably huge ones.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a couple of Bergmans I still need to see, and Kurosawa's.
I don't even think that's that embarrassing.
It's like I haven't
Bergman's. Like, I understand certain crowd
in our crowd, yeah,
but it's not like you haven't seen Jaws.
Wait, what? No, I'm just kidding. Like, what's that? I'm
looking at the most popular movies on Netflix, on Letterboxd, to see what's the most popular movie that I haven't seen.
Man, what's probably the most popular movie on Letterboxd?
I mean,
is it Everything Everywhere All at Once? I feel like that got up there really quick.
Well, sorted by highest rating, it's Band of Brothers.
What?
Yeah.
It's not a movie.
As far as actual movies,
Twin Peaks: The Return, right up there.
12 Angry Men is really high up there.
Seen it. Good movie.
Great movie.
I don't know. I'm struggling with the right way to sort this on Letterboxd. Popularity all time. Here we go.
Here we go. This is what the listeners want.
This is good podcasting.
This is great. We're doing good. We're doing good, guys.
We're very good at this.
I feel like it just sorted my favorite movies, even though I said all. Because I was like, yes, Barbie is the most popular movie of all time on Letterboxd.
I mean, if I'm looking at it, never seen Ikiru, somehow that movie is gonna destroy me. I already know that.
You got to see that one.
Yes. Never saw Craven the Hunter.
I love it when you're such a smart ass on this show. I feel like it's because it's been such a long time, but I can barely remember Seven Samurai to save my life.
So you got to watch that again.
I gotta put the, you know how you watch movies, Karen, and you've seen them, but it's just been so long. And because we see 200 movies a year that are new or something, or some, you know what I mean? That are new releases, and then you're trying to catch up for stuff like this. Yeah, probably most likely 400 movies a year. You just kind of start forgetting some of these classics that you've seen in a while. So I've seen it, but I just I don't remember it frame for frame.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai. That would probably be it. And you really need to catch that. And it's been maybe 15, 16 years since I've seen Back to the Future. And I really need to rewatch it.
Oh, yeah, you should. I was just scrolling through what you have coming up and just to see what I'm missing from that list.
Don't say anything, Karen.
There's one on there that I was just like, oh, that's actually probably my...
That's probably your blind spot?
My biggest blind spot.
Is it from our Paul W.S. Anderson series?
God damn it, Jay. We're not supposed to say things like that now.
Rise of the Lycans.
Wait, Resident Evil, Rise of the Lycans. Did you just combine two franchises there?
Oh, that's Underworld.
Yeah, it's Underworld, buddy.
They blurred.
My God, could you imagine if they would have combined those franchises? You know how much money they would have made? Probably $0. Karen.
To answer your question, Ryan, no.
No. Okay. No big blind spots. Okay. Well,
yes. No. I mean, that is not the person for whom I have the blind spot that I just realized is probably one of my biggest ones.
Okay. Well, she's going to tell us off mic, listeners, and we'll let you know down the road when we do that episode what that we'll say in that episode. By the way, and Karen might not even be here for that one, but we'll say out there, we'll be like, by the way, this was actually Karen Peterson's big blind spot. So this is something
I won't be here for that one because you already have someone for it. So.
Well, there you go. And so in a lot of ways, guys, that's something to look forward to. But anyway,
I think I know my most embarrassing blind spot.
Oh, okay. Jay, you know your most embarrassing blind spot. Okay.
I think it's The Third Man. I've never seen it.
Oh, you got to see that.
I think that's a very embarrassing one, and I should be ashamed of myself.
I don't think that's embarrassing, but you definitely need to correct that immediately.
I do. I own it, but I have not watched it.
Oh, okay. Now it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took Jay a while to see Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Yeah, I think I saw that for the first time within the last 2 years.
Yeah. And what did I tell
showed
you?
us that movie in high school to kill time.
It's a great film.
Multiple times.
I told you would love it, and he did.
It's so good.
Not
such a.
The only problem is they're not handsome enough.
No, not good looking enough for anybody.
One thing holding it back.
Oh man, if only they Robert Redford and Paul Newman were better looking.
Put Matthau in there.
Oh my God, get out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
Now we're cooking.
God damn it, Karen. Thank you so much again for coming on this show.
Thank you.
Kind of a miracle that you say yes to it when you know who's running it.
Anyone does.
I mean, honestly, sometimes, yeah, I do. I wonder if our guests are.
But especially since y'all apparently had an MMA fight 5 or 6 years ago.
Karen and I are good.
Can't believe she's
Karen and I
here.
are friends, people.
Good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're totally good. It's fine.
The way she said that made it not seem like that.
Totally.
God, I'm going to get emails about this. I'm going to be like,
absolutely.
wait, are you guys all right? Like, for real? We like literally, we just want to make sure you're okay. And we're like, yeah, we're fine. It's okay. Yeah, we're fine.
It's going
totally
great.
Okay. It's going great.
Yeah, I've been talking to you for 2 hours and 42 minutes because I hate your guts.
That's very true.
This feels like, I feel like right now people were starting to believe. I feel like Ryan just put in the Amelia Perez tweets and now everybody is like, I don't know. I'm not so sure anymore.
Karen, can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet, and give our listeners a recommendation of the week? Doesn't have to be something new. It could be anything you want to recommend people to go and catch.
You can't do things like that to me because now I just forgot every movie ever made.
Well, we've asked you to do this multiple times. We've done this
the last picture show.
I can't recommend that.
She hasn't seen it. But anyway, just where can we find you first? Karen?
You can find me on social media on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Karen M. Peterson. You can find some of my written work at AwardsWatch, and you can find me on my other podcasts, Citizen Dame and The Watch and Talk. And my recommendation of a movie to watch is I don't know. I have nothing. Watch A New Leaf.
There you go. Watch A New Leaf. There you go. It's perfect. Jay. Same stuff.
Yeah. Letterboxd J Ledbetter, Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter. Any writing I'm doing, awardswatch.com. And my recommendation of the week, Ryan, life is about balance.
Oh God.
And so we talked about a film today from a female filmmaker who, gives a very female perspective.
I don't like where this is going.
Sometimes you got to do one for the fellas, my man.
Oh, for God's sakes.
And so I am going to recommend Brian De Palma's Dressed to Kill, a very problematic, exceptionally well-made, visually audacious and wonderful film that has 7,000 things wrong with it. But damn it, is it thrilling. It is a hell of a movie. We just watched it for the first time.
Elaine May is judging you.
CJ, you had all the goodwill from Karen and you just completely lost it in about 90 seconds.
Movie, man. You do watch that movie and you're like, there were some decisions made. They did it. And then
they did it all right.
Yeah, they did some stuff they shouldn't have done.
No.
But it is just like, I do watch the movie and I'm like, oh my God, look at how this guy is making this movie. This is unbelievable. So go check it out if for no other reason than the filmmaking.
Okay, buddy. All right.
Nancy Allen, apologies. I did not know your game. That's what I'll say about that.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find all my work here at AwardsWatch.com. If you like podcasts, we have the main show that's released every Monday. 5 stars on iTunes and Spotify. We greatly appreciate it. While you're over on the website, please sign up for the newsletter. It's the best place to get all the news, reviews, interviews, and podcasts sent to you all in one place. Recommendation of the week. I am going down a little bit of a director rabbit hole. From last year, one of my favorite films last year was Hard Truths from Mike Leigh. I've recommended that before and thought, why not go down the director rabbit hole and watch some of his films that I hadn't either seen or haven't seen in a long time. I own a lot of his films, and so I was like, let's do a little bit of a marathon. I went back to a movie that he made in 2010 called Another Year. And Jay, have you seen Another Year?
Negative.
Karen, you've seen Another Year?
Yeah.
Incredible movie. That, like most Mike Leigh movies, pretty astonishing stuff. If you guys weren't familiar with Leslie Manville's game, I'd highly recommend being reminded how that she's one of the great actresses that we have working today.
Just
period.
really, Ryan, we're broing out way too hard here. This is a problem.
I think she's astonishing. I don't know why she wasn't nominated for an Academy Award, let alone win an Academy Award for that performance in that movie. She's incredible. Jay, I really do think, as I've gone down this watch, and I know that we say that, oh, person would be great for this series and whatnot. I do think down the road we must do Mike Leigh. I think that talk about somebody that's able to work with the form of filmmaking in a way that most other people aren't. And
that series would have a lot going on under the surface.
Yes, exactly. And
I can't believe you guys haven't done a Mike Leigh series.
It's bound to happen here very soon, I believe. Not this year, but sometime in the future. But yes, another year. I highly recommend going and checking out that flick. Next week, we will be back and we will be continuing our Elaine May movie series. We will be talking about The Heartbreak Kid. And I highly recommend, if you can find it, on the 7 Seas, kind of like,
you got to pull a Jack Sparrow for that.
Yeah, I think you really do. You got to be a little bit of a pirate.
Unless you want to pay $150 for a DVD.
Which, I mean, some people might want to do that, Jay. Who knows?
They might want to. More power to you.
More power to them. But we're going to be talking about The Heartbreak Kid next week. So thank you all so much for listening. And we will see you all next time.